Hey everybody, welcome back to Inverted Reality. I'm Jake, this is my co-host James over here.
Hey guys.
And we're here for our last conference-specific recap of E3 2017. Today we're doing Nintendo.
You see this fancy screen we got just for this?
Our new set that we've built specifically for this. We spent a whole day building it between the last video and this one.
It was really hard to build a TV. That was the toughest part.
Really tricky.
Finding the blueprints.
Finally all the parts came in. No, but this is going to be, like I said, our last conference-specific recap. So check back in tomorrow, and we're going to, with our regular podcast day, we'll have a friend of ours on the podcast with us, and we're going to do kind of a overview of the entire E3 conference of like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, and some highlights from the other ones of EA and Bethesda and Ubisoft. And so we'll be talking about the whole thing.
Yeah, it'll be less like a ton of facts. We probably won't be throwing out a ton of release dates and a ton of like things. It's just going to be a lot of opinions and discussions. And he's pretty well versed in the Xbox side of things. You know, he's bigger in that environment. We're not. So, and we fully admit that. So we just want to get his opinion on stuff. We want to do a fun collab. So we're not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to come back tomorrow and find out. But we're very excited for it. It should be a good time.
I think it'll be really cool. So Nintendo's what is it called? Spotlight today.
I liked it.
Starts off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, it's not a huge surprise they would start with this. We knew that this was coming. It was a pretty popular game on the Wii U. It was just kind of a matter of time. I was surprised it was holiday 2017. We really hadn't heard much before this, maybe some rumors. Pretty quick turnaround for a game like this scale. Turn-based combat looks gorgeous. It actually, for me, this and another game we'll get to later, kind of looks like it's pushing like the graphical limit of what I thought they could do. Yeah, you know, Breath of the Wild looks great on the Switch, and all these games we're talking about
is a very like intentional art style. Yeah, it feels like it can look that good without really pushing the limits.
That's how the shaders
of the Switch.
It's really just like the smoothness of the shaders, and with this, I didn't get that at all. It was very like hard edges, and it was anime art style. Like it looked really nice, and I was impressed what they could do with the Switch.
Character animations looked really smooth.
Yeah, it's I'm going to go in turn-based combat. We didn't obviously play Xenoblade because we didn't have a Wii U.
Most people didn't have a Wii
U. Yeah, open world. I saw a lot of walking. I think half of the like 1 minute video was walking. Yeah, or like running places. So it'll be a big game, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that.
So if you're a Xenoblade fan, there it is. Switch.
I mean, almost everyone
Xenoblade with you wherever you go.
Almost everyone that had a Wii U, I think, played this at some point. Yeah. You know, every like 30 or 40
million people.
There you go. So it's a big game for them. That's really cool to lead off the conference with.
Yeah. So next up, we had Kirby, new Kirby game. I don't know when the last time we got like an actual Kirby game.
There's one on the Wii U.
Was there?
Yeah,
like a legitimate. Oh yeah, because it was like I don't remember the name of it, but I remember it because like you draw a line. And Kirby just like rolls along the line and you kind of move around.
So it wasn't quite like what we're going to get now, but this one looks like a classic Kirby game. You suck in air, you take in enemies, you put on costumes. It looked like one of the costumes he sucked up, he had like Zelda's hat, right? Like the pointy green hat.
Yeah, he's always had got like a hat and a sword.
And a Master Sword I saw there in one take. So he's got some different costumes, obviously, that he absorbs. 4-player co-op. Yeah. He was bringing people along as they went in. You could do it with like CPUs, or you would have people join in with it.
It's Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is what I was thinking of. There's also Kirby Planet Robobot. I'm not sure what that game was about. 2016.
So there's been some good Kirby stuff. I'm excited for it. This is kind of one of those mainstays of Nintendo that we knew we were going to see. Release date's just 2018. Nice and generic and crappy like that, which... You know,
like most of E3?
That's going to happen. Crappy and generic, E3 2017.
Stamp of meh.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, it just, the art style looks really pretty, and I'll get it. Yeah,
looks remnant of, like, the Wii Kirby game.
Yeah.
Or maybe even further back than that. Like, some of the pretty old
It
Kirby
seems
games
like a harken back to, like, some of the traditional Kirby. I am all about it. You know, it's a side-scrolling.
I think this could be fun for us, especially with local co-op as an option. That's always
love
big
local
for us.
Co-op.
We'll almost buy a game solely because we can play
a lot of the stuff
co-op.
that we're seeing from the Switch is local co-op, which is important. I mean, that's an inevitability with how the controllers are set up, but it's nice to be seeing that actively being used. So awesome, Kirby 2018.
We can also do local co-op just holding our consoles.
Yep,
and then using the TV as a music hub.
It seems almost facetious to be sitting here with a 60-inch TV and using it for music, and holding a 6-inch screen in our hand and using that for gaming. Like it feels wrong, But
so we get the whole screen to ourselves.
I love it.
It's awesome.
I know.
I love it. Pokken Tournament Deluxe.
Yep, knew this was coming.
We heard about this last week.
Yeah, they had a direct for it last week. 8-minute reveal. This was just an aside. They brought on a guy from Game Freak, and he mentioned it again. Showed a brief clip. Nothing real fancy, but the big thing that he mentioned comes next, and that they're working on full core RPG Pokemon game for the Switch. He said it's still more than a year out, so they don't have anything to show us yet.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's in the works. It's real. We're talking a mainline Pokemon game in the vein of red and blue and yellow and gold and silver and platinum and pearl.
I wonder if it's going to have
diamond
that 3D look that Sun and Moon had.
I don't know. I'm sure the graphics are going to be outstanding.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be it's a Pokemon game. That's kind of the assumption here is what, right now they're in Generation 7 with Sun and Moon, and they just announced Ultra Sun and Moon, which is just a crappy rebrand with an alternate story to make more money.
Like the crystal version of...
Yeah, it's sort of, yeah.
It's the next thing.
Yeah, it's the last part. So they're thinking that, still more than a year away is what he said probably means 2019. That's just kind of what they didn't give a date because obviously it's far away.
Didn't even have a logo.
It's exciting to me because I love the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to play it on a home console. Really just like having a 6-inch screen for it that we don't have to worry about backlighting anymore.
Right.
It looks awesome. Just the concept of it. Nothing to get crazy excited about. I'm just glad that they confirmed it and kind of like shut everybody up after the Nintendo Direct. Everyone was upset because like you just spent 8 minutes telling us about a crappy alternate storyline for Sun and Moon and Pokken Tournament. That was a waste of time. So I'm glad they at least mentioned it. I really think they just mentioned it to pacify the audience. They heard the cries and complaints about it. Like, you know what? Fine, we're working on it. Chill.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly reasonable move for Nintendo to do. Be like, all right, hang on, we don't have anything to show you, but we can just have this guy record something on his computer.
It's happening.
Make him look make it look artful, and then we'll move on to the next thing that has nothing confirmed for it other than it's called Metroid Prime 4.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the game.
Yeah,
it's a small franchise for them.
It's a little thing coming on. They showed us
a little bit of music,
like a 20-second teaser of the number 4 popping in and then sliding over, and then it said Metroid Prime, and then it said in development for Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
So I'm excited. I like Metroid.
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
Metroid was like one of Nintendo's pillars. They had Prime 3 come out, and everyone loved it, and then everything kind of failed. Yeah, they did a couple other series, and I was reading a little bit about why they kind of strayed from the Prime series. Because people in Japan, especially, that's their big home market. They don't like Metroid. They're not attracted to it. They don't like that style of game. They aren't intrigued at all.
Yeah.
So that's why they did stuff like Other M and the other like variations and stuff to try and bring it into the Japanese audience. Well, it didn't work, and didn't work with the Western audience either. So I'm excited. I think it'll be cool. We're 2 years away at least. There's no way that
for sure
it's 2018.
If all we have is a logo, which to be fair is more than the Pokemon RPG had.
Yeah. So it's cool. It gets everybody excited.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that at the end of this, how I feel about it as a whole for the conference.
Yeah, fair enough. Next up we had Yoshi. Looks super cute. Everything about it was just
adorable.
It meant to be adorable. Basically, it's like it starts as like there's always 2 sides of every story, and so basically you can play on both sides of the world. It kind of look like Paper Mario.
Yep, I was thinking it's got like that cardboard styling, like a lot of Little Big Planet stuff.
Yeah, it might be Paper Mario where you could kind of like move up the world and there's background and stuff like that. You can do that in this game. You get to move. You see the regular overworld that you walk on, or not the overworld, the level you walk on, and you can just jump behind the building or flip the whole thing around and go down to the bottom of it. It looks kind of cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's another one of those 2018 games. It's Yoshi. Looks like it's co-op. Saw different colored Yoshi in the game, which is not a huge shocker, obviously. Fez. That's the one I was thinking of. The rotation mechanic. Oh, yeah, right. That was like a 4. Maybe like you go all the way around. It was a cube, so that's a little bit different, but it's the same concept, right? You see these things, all of a sudden you flip everything, like, oh man, there's all these different things for. Yeah. So,
admittedly, at first this game didn't really catch my eye. It looked like it was catered to be too cute.
Yeah,
like it's like, okay, this is aimed a little too far down the age spectrum,
right?
And watching it again, I was kind of like, okay, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I could get into like the co-op play of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see more. It was very brief in their gameplay. They didn't show a lot of variation, but it is still over a year away, more than likely. So it's cool to see. It's, again, not a huge surprise to see it with it's being a staple of Nintendo. It's Yoshi, it's Kirby, there's Mario stuff. This is normal.
All the things we expect to see from Nintendo, such as Fire Emblem Warriors.
There you go.
Looks, I mean, super Japanese, really anime. Like we didn't play Fire Emblem. Yeah. Like we didn't. Fire Emblem Fates, I think, was the last one that came out.
Yeah.
That's right. And then Fire Emblem Heroes, maybe. Correct me in the comments below. But
yeah, Fates was 2015, and that was on the 3DS.
Yep.
So I believe that was the last one.
Yeah.
So cool. You know, if you like Fire Emblems, good news. Holiday 2017. Another one that was pretty quick turnaround from no news to release date. There wasn't a lot of gameplay. A lot of it was cinematics. Yep. It had a similar art style to Xenoblade Chronicles. Obviously, very different worlds and things like that, but it's looks similar. Probably, I don't know if it's turn based. Like they didn't say. We don't know.
I don't know. I don't think Fire Emblem is turn based, but it might be.
I don't know. So look out for that later this year.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
Sorry, there's not much on that for us. Breath of the Wild DLC. Showed off a lot of the first DLC for Master Trials, so it looks like kind of new, like shrine style experiences. Like tests to pass. Like the first one that popped in reminded me, spoiler for one of the shrines in Zelda. Not really a spoiler. You like fly all the way to this island, and when you get there, the goddess of the island's like, "I'm taking your stuff. Like you don't get any of your things."
Yep.
So you start from scratch. You pick up a stick, you go fight a goblin, you pick up his weapon, you beat the rest of the goblins, and you slowly just start building back up. And it looked like one of the trials was like that. And that was honestly one of my favorite shrines in the whole game. It was
pretty cool. It was really cool. So yeah, the Master Trials, from what I understand, they didn't talk about it much in the conference, but it's supposed to be you're going through these trials that are in the store, and then once you get through them, your Master Sword should be powered up all the time. That's the gist that I got from it, which is really cool. So it's powered up like when you go to Hyrule Castle and you see it, and it doesn't lose any. It can't be broken, can't be lose energy. It doubles in its power, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be really cool. I'm sure it'll be really difficult. Another cool thing is Master Mode. It's basically just hard mode. Right, it's
like new. I guess probably wouldn't be like new game.
I don't know if it's new game plus or
like,
or what like that. I don't think you carry stuff over with it, but enemies are harder. Everyone's gone up a level in terms of their difficulty. They have floating enemies that'll come in. There'll be like platforms that float with balloons tied to them.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that looks really difficult. I don't think this would be something for me because I'm not really in it for like the huge challenge.
Not either.
Regenerating enemy health. So damage somebody and then
not about that. Do it. Not about that life.
Yeah. So that's great for the hardcore enthusiasts who want to do it.
Yeah.
New armor and masks and things like that. There's one mask that collectors are going to be excited about. It's the Korok leaf mask or Korok.
Yeah,
mask.
The Korok leaf mask.
Yeah.
That looked kind of cool. You showed that. We also saw
the important
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, the important thing with the Korok mask is that it will, when you're nearby a Korok seed, it'll let you know. So you'll be able to like kind of go and collect those a little bit easier. Granted, there's 900 of them. That's insane if you're really taking the time to do that.
So props to you if you're finding all the Korok seeds. Showed a tracker on the map so you can look and see where you've been.
Yeah.
I've been everywhere. I know where I've been because I can see all the shrines on my map. It would be kind of cool to see your traversal.
Yeah, and as far as I know, it's supposed to go back through your gameplay now. Oh. It's supposed to cover like 200 hours.
Jeez.
So, everything. I'm assuming it will, you can correct us if we're wrong, but it will take all the stuff you've done in the game so far and actually backtrack it. If you had to start all over with it, that would kind of suck.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a cool feature. So all that stuff, June 30th. So be on the lookout for that. If you had the season pass for Legend of Zelda, it's included. Right now, you can actually go get the season pass for $20.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Includes both DLC packs that are coming out this year. The second one, they only teased it. It's called The Champion's Ballad. We hadn't heard anything about this at all.
No.
Really, they just showed us some artwork, like almost like concept art of the 4 champions that you meet in the game, and that's it. That's what they showed you. And it said Holiday 2017.
Yeah.
They did mention we're going to get amiibos of the 4 games or
the 4 champions.
4 champions from the base game. That would be cool. the idea of collecting amiibos is starting to become alluring to me. I don't know why. I want to. I like things. So it'd be cool. It'd be a cool like backdrop in the studio. Just all of our amiibos on a wall.
We'll take a picture of them, put them on the nice TV that we have now.
Yep. Exactly.
Just came in today, freshly built. From IKEA.
Got a couple extra screws though.
Yeah, no. As I was watching this, my first question was like, okay, how much is it? Because that's if it comes up with $40, we're like,
yeah, no,
that's a little bit much. But for $20 for both of them, so $10 per, like that's a no-brainer almost.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
If you play Zelda, and if this is the one you bought a Switch to play Zelda, then you're gonna buy this DLC because that'd be stupid not to. At this point.
I mean, even if it's only an extra 10 or 15 hours, like that's still a really good like investment, like per dollar right there. And the Champions Ballad could be really fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see on that.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. We talked about this. Would have been
yesterday.
Trying to think when this comes out. Would it have been yesterday?
It was 2 days ago.
It would be 2 days ago.
It was part of Ubisoft's conference.
Yeah.
Ubi.
Basically, just kind of showed you the same thing. We saw a pre-produced video from the Ubisoft head, and here's what the game looks like. Releases August 29th for probably just Nintendo fans that don't watch the rest of E3.
Yep.
They just watch Nintendo's conference.
Just a quick pop in. Nothing fancy
nothing
there.
new we saw. Rocket League. Rocket League's coming to Switch.
Boom.
Supports cross-platform play.
Except with PS4.
Except for PS4, which that's got to be PS4's problem at this point.
It's
got to be Sony.
It's what everyone's
being a pain.
Everyone's kind of come out and said and thinks that Sony's the issue, and I think there's been some sources for it, which sucks. I
love Sony.
I like being able. I like the crossplay. We have crossplay with PC, so it's interesting. I think they're just trying to go away from like direct competitors in the console market. But is Switch really a direct competitor? It's not, and that's not a knock on Switch. But this is coming holiday 2017. They didn't tell us about any specs, if it's going to be 60 frames, like what the resolution is going to be, anything like that.
I'd be impressed if it was 60 frames.
I would be. I think it should be. I think it needs to be. It's running on Unreal Engine 3, which is a little bit older engine.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA has shown on their Shield tablet that they can run Unreal Engine 3 at 1080p 60 on a tablet the size of the Switch. So in theory, this has as good or better hardware than it. So I think we'll get 60. I'd be okay with getting 720p visuals in the 60 frames. 60 frames is really important, I think, in Rocket League.
Yeah. So I think I'd rather see the frame rate over the resolution.
Yep.
I'll probably get it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have Rocket League for PlayStation. We got it with PS Plus because it launched on PS Plus for free. So we've never actually had the chance to buy the game. That being said, we haven't bought any DLCs for it either.
No.
Because we were done playing it by the time DLCs came out. Moved on to other things. But I'll probably play this, especially if it's coming out in holidays.
I like the idea.
I'll get it
like
on my Switch and I can take it
Mm-hmm.
wherever I go on holidays with me. I'm gonna play some Rocket League because that's quick hit stuff. Like,
I love it.
Waiting for dinner to be cooked.
I like to pick it up every couple weeks.
Yeah.
Things slow down. It's fun to just jump back in for an hour. The soundtrack on Rocket League is always amazing.
It's awesome. The gameplay is always just super fun. You can get into games where you don't feel like you have to be super good to compete, but you can also spend a lot of time with it and get really good and start doing
climb up
competition.
the seasons, and
yeah,
it's just awesome.
Such a great game. So shout out to Psyonix, guys. Way to go.
Nice work.
Last but certainly not least, Super Mario Odyssey.
This is why I was
Super
watching
Mario
right
Odyssey.
here.
Yep.
This was going to be my console seller before I saw Zelda and got jealous.
Yep.
This was it for me, and it was all gameplay. Like we just slides right in, and then just like 2 minutes of gameplay.
Yep. So
it's gorgeous.
Yep.
It looks great.
Mario's
obviously.
hat is the super big part of this. So like takes off his hat and like throws it at things, and it can be a weapon, or he can throw it and land it on whatever it is, and he can transport to that thing and like become it.
He basically possesses things.
Yeah.
And so he in the trailer he became a dinosaur, like a T-Rex, became a taxi, became a tank.
Yeah.
He was all sorts of different stuff. He was like a real life, like a realistic looking person at one point. The possibilities are endless. There was some traversal he was doing where he'd like throw the hat on a flower and then jump on the flower, and then while he was in the air throw the hat at another flower and bounce off of that flower. Yeah. And it's just there's really cool things, and I thought we knew that they were going to talk about throwing the hat. It was kind of teased in the first trailer a bit, and boy, I thought it was just going to be a gimmick. Like, nope, that's what the game's based around, and I'm perfectly okay with it. I think it looks really cool. October 27th, we officially got our release date, earlier than expected. Yeah. We were thinking late November, maybe early December. So that's awesome. It's great to have that coming soon. Saw some more gameplay in the Treehouse, obviously, because this is their game, right? This is their system seller. It's the first sandbox title since Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. That's a bit, right? That is a minute. There's been
two consoles since then.
Yeah, seriously. So we are pretty excited. for Mario Odyssey. It looked great. So Sunshine, the last one, 2002. I realized that the everything kind of changed for Nintendo and
some other stuff. We got New Super Mario World, and
Super Mario 64, 1996. If you want to feel old, so
Gosh, man,
it's gonna be
Super
awesome.
Mario
I'm excited to see
64.
it. Graphics looked amazing, as they should. It's what I wanted. I saw. So what do you think overall from this? It was a nice 25-30 minute
super
presentation,
fast, which we knew it would be.
We got to see a little bit of actual interaction with some Nintendo employees, just like a couple pop-ins here and there between trailers when necessary. Overall, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it was good. I mean, we got the release date for Super Mario Odyssey. Got the announcement of Metroid Prime 4.
Huge.
So big, which nobody was expecting. I think my takeaway from this, like Kirby maybe. But like I'm most excited for Rocket League and Super Mario Odyssey at this point.
Yeah.
Those are the two games I'm going to spend the most time with. Rocket League is just such a great filler game.
You got Zelda too.
I got Zelda,
The
but I
DLC.
imagine by the time Super Mario rolls around in October and it's June, I will be pretty well done with my main playthrough
Switch
of
probably
Zelda at
won't
this
have
point.
been doing a ton lately. So,
No.
I mean, I agree. I think this was probably the best. I'd say the best conference. It had surprises that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
They took that first big step, I think, in they're advertising this console like they should be all over the place with a ton of different stuff, and I think that's really good because they didn't advertise the Wii U. They just didn't. They didn't market it. It was dead on arrival. So they're handling this console well. They're listening to what people want. They're showing us stuff even if there's nothing to show. I don't think they should get a pass for showing us Metroid Prime 4's title screen and saying that this is like the greatest thing ever. A lot of people have, kind of called out Sony and Microsoft for doing those things before, right? With Death Stranding, you had basically nothing for the last year outside of like a couple weird cinematic trailers that just have no bearing and they didn't have an engine picked out yet. And so people crucify them for that, right? And so then Nintendo does the same thing with two games. One of them doesn't even have a title screen.
Yeah, one of them was just a developer talking.
And everyone just goes nuts and is super excited about it. So it's a little bit of a double standard. That being said, Nintendo has never, ever listened to consumers, has never been able to market their games well, right? No one ever knows Nintendo for their brilliant marketing, and that's part of the disconnect between, I think, the Japanese culture and the Western culture. They're finally starting to get on the same page, and they're getting there. They're progressing towards it. So I was really impressed by this conference. The brevity of it, the quality of the stuff that we saw, everything that we actually saw looked very polished and very ready to go. I would have loved to see more. We didn't see anything for Animal Crossing. I'm not an Animal Crossing fan, but there's a lot of people out there that are. So I'm kind of sad they didn't see anything for that. Nothing for Smash Brothers. I was a little surprised. It's a huge deal for them. Nothing for like Super Mario Bros. In terms of games.
I would have liked to see Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, Super Mario Maker.
I really want to see Super Mario Maker on the Switch because I got to actually play it once on the Wii U, and then, I was at a friend's house. It was for like 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but I'd really love to dig in and like find these fun maps and play the ones that I've watched on YouTube. And I've watched a bunch of Mario Maker. Like, I would love to play these maps, but I just don't have a Wii U. I'm not gonna get one.
So I'm sure it'll come eventually. So
Virtual Console.
A couple disappointments for me there. We didn't hear anything about Virtual Console, which again, not a huge surprise, but we need to hear. We need to start hearing more about it. So there was good things. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's the best of E3, but I think only because the other conferences were less than stellar.
Just so
there was just nothing.
I don't think it gets to be the
really
best
stuck
because
out.
it's so good. It gets to be the best because the others were just so not okay.
Just meh.
Yeah.
There was problems with every conference, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow on our podcast because it's just Nintendo. But I was impressed. They came, they had an opportunity, and they finally seized it for the first time in years.
Yeah.
So I like where Nintendo's going, and I think this is a really good step forward for them.
I agree. That's going to wrap it up for our Nintendo E3 recap. If you're new to the channel, we put out videos 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday. 4 of those days are Let's Plays. 1 of those days is a podcast. We do a podcast every Thursday morning at a fluid release time.
Yeah.
We'll call it. But thanks for hanging out. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.